guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be like totally different than anything I thought I'd ever film because I'm not ready to put my personal life out here yet, but I feel like I need to because I've calmed down a lot. Like, I'm super still emotional, but I've calmed down a lot from things that have happened today. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been working on a true crime video that I'm super excited about. I've been working on it for about a month and I've just been super sick. I've actually been in the hospital. I went to the doctor at Vanderbilt yesterday. I've been to see my primary care doctor. I've been to see probably 4 doctors this week actually, but hopefully they're getting things figured out and I will be back to the good soon. But my emotional state's not the best. I've been dealing with depression and anxiety for a long time, probably since I was around 14 or 15 years old. They wanted to put me on depression medication when I was that age. My mom was like, no, she's a kid. She doesn't need depression medication. She needs to go outside, whatever. So, I was never really put on there. And then in 2011, I found out that I was born with a couple of birth defects and I had to have open heart surgery. And so I went into a very, very downward spiral. So I really had no choice but to go on the medication. And it's something that sometimes I question if I agree with it because there are so many different homeopathic remedies. Now there's cannabis oil. There's just so many different things out there that I wish that were available to me, however many years ago, 7 years ago when I had my surgery. So, but I had a second surgery this past January, and that's kind of why I closed my spa. I've just had a really hard time dealing with everything, physically, mentally. But let me just tell you what happened today, okay? So I went to the doctor at Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's where I go now for everything. Like, literally, if I get a broken toe, I'm going to go to Vanderbilt because I feel like hospitals around here are just not equipped to deal with certain things. And when I went to the emergency room over this past weekend, I went really, really early Saturday morning, like 2:30. I thought, okay, I'm dehydrated because I thought I had the stomach virus. I've been throwing up for like a week. And I thought I had the stomach virus, and I was like, I'm probably, pretty dehydrated because I get dehydrated really easily. I've had some kidney issues in the past couple years because of dehydration caused by a medication. So, I was like, I'm probably, really dehydrated. So, sorry. I went to the ER thinking I'm going to get fluids, I'm going to go home. But no. I get to the ER, I'm there for like... Sorry, low freaking battery. I go to the ER and they do give me fluids. They do say, you're really dehydrated. We need to give you a couple bags of fluids. We're going to do a CT scan, which I thought was really strange. But I guess since I was having like abdominal pain, lower back pain, everything kind of just not really adding up with dehydration symptoms. So they did the CT scan. They did blood work, everything like that, and then about 4, I guess it was around 4:15, 4:30, something like that. I had been there for hours. It may have even been later than that, but they're like, we found a spot on your liver, and I was like, what? Like, I'm here for dehydration. Like, I mean, literally, I was blown away because I didn't understand what was going on. So they were like, we're going to do a couple more tests. We're going to admit you to the hospital. And I freaked out because I haven't been in the hospital since January when I had my surgery. And it just brought back a lot of really bad memories, a lot of flashbacks. So I was like, okay. So they admit me to the hospital and then they do a ultrasound. It's kind of blurry because I was pretty much out of it because I got so freaked out. My blood pressure jumped to like 230 over 118. And so they gave me some Ativan in a drip form, I guess. And so I was feeling pretty good. So I don't really remember exactly, other than they wouldn't let me have anything to drink or eat. And I was so thirsty. They would only let me have like 3 ice chips. So I was super thirsty, and they did the ultrasound, and you know, they were like, there's a mass on your liver. I think it's 5.6 centimeters. But they were like, we want to do a biopsy. And I talked to, you know, my mom, I talked to my husband, I talked to a friend, and they're like, don't let them do it there. I'm not going to mention the hospital, but they're like, don't let them do it there. Get a second opinion. So I told them, I was like, I really want to be discharged. I really want to go home. I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to get a second opinion. And they were like, well, we'll discharge you. So they discharged me and everything. And then I had to go all day Sunday thinking I had cancer. And then I go Monday to pick up my ultrasound results. It was just like in written form or whatever, typed form. And it mentioned the word, I'm not even sure if I'm saying this right, clocarcinoma, something like that. Anyway, it's bile duct cancer. I know I'm totally pronouncing it wrong. But it did mention that, and it mentioned tumor infection. I don't know if they have to mention that so they don't get sued, like if you do have cancer or whatever, how it goes. But I basically fell apart and lost it, and just didn't really know what to do, what to think. I've been through a lot with my health, and the C word is super scary. You know, cancer's rampant in my family and my husband's family too, so it really scares us anytime we hear that word. And I was really, really afraid. And then I went to see my primary doctor on Wednesday, and he was like, I don't think it's cancer. He said, I think it's really a pocket of blood vessels, whatever that means. But then I go to Vanderbilt yesterday, which was Thursday, and they're like, yeah, we think it's a hemangioma, something like that. I don't know. I'm so bad with these medical terms. But they think it's basically a pocket of blood vessels or something. But they did order MRI. They did more blood work, and they said we'll go from there. If the MRI is inconclusive or they need more answers, they'll do a biopsy. And that word scares me because I have had a biopsy before on another part of my body, and it was painful. They did not give me any anesthesia, anything. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing where I was at the doctor and they did it, and it was so painful. So but let me rewind a little and talk about like my birth defects. And I had this surgery this past January. I had a thoracotomy, and it's the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. You know, I had open heart surgery. A scar. It's a pretty long scar, but I had that back in 2011 from the birth defects they found. That was a breeze compared to what I went through in January. Like, it still blows my mind that I went through this, but this year has really been hell. But my husband has held me down and been amazing. He's the biggest support and best support ever. My friends are great, you know. Today my mom and I kind of got into it a little bit, but I'm not going to go into that. But I got really upset about it, but I'm not going to go into that and tell you the details of that because I don't really believe in airing like family dirty laundry yet. Like, this is my second video, so but that's kind of why I've been a mess today. So I just wanted to kind of go on here and talk about why I've been sick, why I've been absent, because this YouTube channel is very important to me. I just started. There's so many things I want to talk about, so many things I want to, you know, like, I love watching true crime videos. So that's why I was inspired to do this, because I watch a lot of true crime videos and I love conspiracy theories. That's super important for me to educate people on, because I feel like so many people are uneducated. And I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm literally, but like I said, been asleep, been crying, been a really shitty, stressful day. So, my dog, he knows I'm sad. He's old. This is Harley. So yeah, he's old. He's my little geriatric dog. I've had him for 13 years. He's been with me through a lot. He's been with me through all my surgeries, all the craziness. My husband and I have been together for about 10 years, so I've had him, you know, the whole time we've been together, and he loves my husband, but he's He's a mama's boy. Say hi. But he's a great support too. Like all my dogs, they know when I'm sad, they know when I'm upset. They've definitely been able to tell that something has been wrong lately. So, but I just wanted to let you guys know that this is important to me. I want to educate people on conspiracies. I want to let people know that there are things out there other than mainstream media. It's important. Like, you can't believe everything you see on CNN or Fox News or whatever. Like, they're only going to show you what they want you to see. So, I think it's important to talk about all that. But I'm kind of freaked out to talk about conspiracy theories on here because I've watched videos of other people talk about conspiracy videos and they're like, oh, I got weird calls from Russia, or that kind of scares me. But I'm still going to do my best to talk about whatever I feel like talking about and not be afraid and not be biased, I guess. So, but let's start with 2011. My husband and I were living in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I went to the doctor. I think I went to the doctor for back pain. Back pain seems to be like so common with me, but whatever. I went to the doctor for back pain, and my primary doctor was listening to my heart, and he was like, I hear leakage. And I was like, oh my God, I know I'm gonna have to have heart surgery. Open heart surgery has been a big fear for me my entire life because I was told I was born with a heart murmur, which is a hole in your heart. And I was, told I was born with that. So, sorry, dry mouth. But, so they sent me for testing. I was in great shape, guys. It was crazy. But they sent me for testing, and I went to get some kind of ultrasound done of my heart. And literally, the nurse lost it. She started bawling, like straight up crying. And of course, she couldn't tell me what was wrong. She was like, I can't tell you. Your doctor will have to tell you what's wrong. So I just kept going for more and more tests. And I was at the Chattanooga Heart Institute, and I had a cardiologist there. They hooked me up with some surgeons, talked to me, kind of explained everything to me, but they kept finding things wrong. I had a 9.5 centimeter aneurysm on my aorta. I had no blood flow in the lower half of my body, and I think it's called aortic atresia or aortic stenosis. It's crazy how I don't know these names because this happened to me, but I block it out a lot. So, that basically my ascending aorta and descending aorta were not connected. So I was getting no blood flow to the lower half of my body, and I never had any problems until about 3 months before I went to the doctor for my back issues. My legs would start to get numb. If I crossed them, they'd go to sleep really easily. They would kind of get a little weak. So, it's just crazy. Like, all my life, I never had any symptoms of anything. So, this all kind of happened at once. Well, I had my open heart surgery February 17th, 2011. And, everything went really good. I immediately felt better. I could breathe because I was having trouble breathing too. Like, I was blaming it on anxiety, but I was having trouble like catching my breath. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and couldn't breathe, and I was like, okay, I'm just having bad dreams, whatever. But it was because of the heart stuff. My aorta, the aneurysm on it was so big, it was pressing on my diaphragm. It was so clear and so big. They were like, it looks like a big balloon. Like, we don't know how you're alive. So that was pretty crazy. But I had my surgery. Everything was good. But a lot of stuff went down that year. I had the surgery. Cedric proposed to me 2 months later. We bought our first house. We moved back to Alabama. The tornado came through that year and kind of blew my hometown away. We didn't know if we had our house that we had just purchased to even go to. We moved the day after the tornado, and there was no power. We had no water for a couple days. People that I knew passed away. A lot of people lost their homes, lost everything. So it was just a really stressful time. And when your hometown goes through something like that, you feel it. You feel for those people who lose everything. My uncle lost his home. I mean, it was really, really scary, really sad. You know, it literally, I don't know if you guys remember, but the tornadoes literally came through the state of Alabama and like just tore up a couple towns. I think it hit Tuscaloosa, Hackleburg, Phil Campbell, which are like Phil Campbell, where I grew up, is so tiny. I think I graduated with like 54 people, but it's really, really tiny, and it just, the community really came together. And I wasn't able to really do anything because I had just had this major surgery. So I think Cedric and I helped my grandmother hand out like water that day or something. We tried to help and do what we could do, but it was really amazing to see people come from all over the United States to help people who had been affected. But so anyways, that happened, and then we had to plan a wedding. We planned a wedding in Mexico, and then we canceled because we got freaked out because there was a lot of crime going on there. So we paid for that, canceled it, and did not get our money back. And I mean, we were about to be married. We didn't have a lot of money at that time, you know, and we lost a lot of money on that wedding. So what we ended up doing was going to Gatlinburg and getting married there. We had a beautiful fall wedding, but I was just really stressed out that year. My depression hit me hard. I gained like 60 pounds after my surgery. My anxiety was through the roof, just literally very intense, very crazy. So fast forward, let's see, probably 2014, I started aesthetic school, and about the same time I started aesthetic school, I got put on a medication for a disease called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and the medication was metformin, and I started getting really, really sick, and I was throwing up really, really sick for like 3.5 years. We could not figure out what it was. My husband did mention the medication once, but I blew it off. I was like, no, it's not the medication, you know. So I had a couple endoscopies, I had a colonoscopy, I had my gallbladder taken out, all for nothing. It was the medication. So you can see why I don't really trust doctors around here that much. Kind of scary to think that they took an organ out of my body when I didn't really need it taken out, but whatever. And that's really affected me. Like, I can't eat lettuce like without getting sick or anything. Certain things I can't eat. Sorry. And so anyways, so last year in November, I was in the hospital around Thanksgiving, and we figured out it was the medication. Like, I was in there, my kidneys were about to fail because I was so dehydrated from throwing up so much. I think I was like 2 or 3% away from dialysis, like needing kidney dialysis. And I hadn't been on the metformin for a couple days, and my husband was like, "You've not been sick. It's the medication." So I stopped taking the metformin, and sure enough, I got better. Like, everything stopped. So, but then I found out I had to have another open heart surgery. I had a thoracotomy done in January of this year, where they fixed the stenosis or whatever, and now I have blood flow to the lower half of my body, so it's great. I've not had leg swelling. My legs would swell and my ankles would swell so bad I would say I had cankles, but I could not bend my legs. I could not walk. I would fall. I would have leg weakness, just all this crazy stuff, so they fixed that. But the thoracotomy has been hell on my body. I have not been able to recover. I don't know if it's because I'm older than when I had my first surgery, but I've not been able to recover well this year, and that's why I closed my spa, which was my baby, which I cannot get into that because that's a whole separate emotional issue. I put my whole entire life into that. My husband and I put so much time, money, effort, heart into all that, and I miss my clients so much, so it's really hard to talk about that, but I might do a video on that. So, but this year has been really hard emotionally. I've dealt with changing medications like 20 times in the last couple months. I started seeing a psychiatrist. I started seeing a therapist. I still see my psychiatrist. I don't see my therapist anymore because I was literally just crying, like going there like twice a week and crying so hard. And I didn't really know if that was healthy for me or not because I was already crying all the time anyway, because my depression got deeper. My anxiety got so bad. My anxiety is so bad that if my husband leaves the house without me to even go down the street to the gas station, that I'm constantly fearing he's gonna die. I don't like him leaving the house. He works from home. He's home 24/7. That's what I'm used to. You know, if I leave the house, I'm worried the house is gonna catch on fire. I'm worried because he's a deep sleeper. And our house burned 5 years ago, and I had to wake him up like 6 times and say, we've got to get out of the house. The house is on fire. Like, he is such a deep sleeper. So I'm super paranoid about that. I'm constantly checking to make sure he's breathing during, like, when he's sleeping. My anxiety is just really bad. And yeah, it used to be all about me and me dying, like dying in my sleep. Now it's about him, or it's about my dogs. Like, I'm constantly worried that they're dying, especially my little old man down there. He still looks like a puppy, but he gets sick a lot and has stomach issues. And every time that happens, I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna lose him. I can't deal with that. So, because like I said, he's been with me through everything. But my anxiety now is more about other people. It's not about me anymore. It's, like I said, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose him, because some days he's literally all I have. Like, my family doesn't understand what I'm going through. I feel like nobody really does, and I lost touch with my friends this year. Like, I slowly become a recluse. Like, I didn't want to leave the house. I wasn't up to leaving the house, but I've been getting back out there. We've been trying to do things and hang out with friends, and it's good for me. It's really, really good for me. So I'm doing a little bit better with that. And then all this happened this past weekend, so it's like, what now? But thank God they told me today that they don't think it's cancerous, so that's good. So they think it's just a little ball of blood vessels up in my liver, and they said it could be from where I had my gallbladder out unnecessarily. And so I'm just really glad that that's okay, because like I said, cancer runs rampant in my family, especially on my dad's side of the family. So I'm really glad that it's potentially not cancerous. My doctor at Vanderbilt said he was willing to bet like 80% that it was not cancer. So, but I'm so shocked I did not like bawl during this video, but it feels really good to get this out and to let, you know, people know mental health is a real thing. I'm so over it being like this stigma around it, where you can't talk about it. You're crazy if you talk about it, you know, whatever. And I do get called crazy by people that are supposed to love me. So it's frustrating. Okay, now I guess I'm gonna start crying. But it's heartbreaking when someone that you love, oh, it's all in your head. Drink water. Like, really, water doesn't fix anxiety. Water doesn't fix depression. Going for a walk doesn't fix it. Like, sometimes you need therapy. You need really heavy therapy, or you need medication. And it's okay to use those things to get through life. Like, life is hard. Life is full of so many bumps. And sometimes you just need, you know, that extra thing to get you through the day. I mean, like I said, I hate taking medication. I would much rather. I don't understand why weed isn't legal here. I live in the Bible Belt. I live in Alabama. So this will be the last freaking state to legalize marijuana or anything. It's crazy. Because it helps so many people, like cancer patients, seizure patients, anxiety. Like, it helps so many different things. So why it's not legal, I guess, has to do with the tax that they want to put on there, but they can't. I don't know. I don't know all that legal law mumbo jumbo stuff. So, but I really do hope that they will make it legal, and that people will stop saying that it's a gateway drug, because I don't believe that in any fashion. I don't. Like, after my first heart surgery, I started looking into it. Like, I would never touch it. Like, in high school, growing up, in college, I would never touch it, because I was like, that's a drug. But it's really just a plant, and it really helps so many people. When Big Pharma or whatever, all they do is push pills down your throat, and that sometimes makes you feel crazier. So I truly believe that it helps so many people, and I hope and pray that it will be legalized here soon. So more people can get help without feeling like they're doing something wrong or they're going to get caught. And there have been people who have had their children taken away for using, like, I think cannabis oil to treat their children's seizures or, you know, their sickness. So I really wish that it was legal here to help people instead of pills, because like I said, I hate pills. They make me feel sick, they make me feel dizzy. You go through a lot of different symptoms on a lot of different medications, and like I said, I can't even sit here and tell you all the medications I've been on this year to try to figure out what works for me. I just started a new one 2 weeks ago called Vraylar. Like I said, I'm bad with these names. But I don't know if it's helping because it's only been about 2 weeks, so we'll see. But I just really appreciate you guys taking time to listen to all this craziness today, and I'm so glad I didn't just bawl, because I have an ugly cry face. So I'm really glad I did not cry and, you know, just kind of be, but I am being very real, very, very raw, very open with you guys. I'm always going to be that way. I'm never going to sugarcoat anything or lie, because like I said, I think it's important to bring awareness to these things. The stigma of mental health, like all the suicides that are happening lately with all these famous people, it's so sad because people think, oh, they have millions of dollars, they're happy. That's not true. Money buys you nice things. Yeah, it might be more comforting to cry in a Bentley than it is to cry in a Pinto or whatever, but you're still crying at the end of the day. So that's really the important thing. Like, it's not money. It's the people that are around you. And even then, like, I've dealt with suicidal thoughts this year. And really, honestly, you just feel like a burden. You feel like, okay, I'm doing my husband, my mom, my sister, brother, whatever, a huge favor by ending my life, because they don't have to worry if I'm going to crack. They don't have to take care of me on the days I can't get out of bed. I can't even get anything to drink for myself. Like, depression is one of the awfulest diseases out there, and it chooses you. You don't choose to be depressed. I've had so many people say, well, just, you know, smile more. Like, I smile 24/7 most of the time because I'm trying to mask the depression or the anxiety that I'm feeling. Like, I will literally be having a conversation with someone and just smiling so hard that my face hurts, but on the inside I am cracking, I am breaking, like, I'm broken. So it's just, like I said, such a misconception. These people that say for you to read a book, take a walk, just please hush. It's not like that. I don't wish this on anybody, but I do wish that, you know, sometimes your loved ones, maybe they could do a virtual reality thing where they could feel what you feel when you're going through these things. So they won't say ridiculous things to you. They'll understand. And to think that you have to deal with this disease every single day, you know, my heart hurts for so many people, because I know there's always somebody out there with a much worse case of depression than I have. So I can't imagine, like, having those suicidal thoughts every single day, or not having someone to talk to. Because I have, you know, amazing people in my life who do try to understand and who are there for me. So not having someone, or not being able to be vocal about it has to be really rough. I'm always going to be open about it. And there are people in my family who don't like that I'm open about it, because I guess they don't understand it. So they might feel like you're making them look crazy because you're related to them, you come from them, and that's your blood. They don't want you to be all open about being depressed or having anxiety because you look unstable. But I'm going to be open, like I said. You know, ask me anything. I've got like 600 views on my first video, so I am not by any means a YouTube star. But if you're feeling depressed or if you're feeling anxious, ask me anything. Ask me how I deal with it. Ask me for my email address. Like, I'm willing to talk to anybody who needs help. This is a serious disease, and there needs to be serious help for people. Don't ever feel ashamed. You know, don't ever feel scared. If you need to go to a therapist, it really is great to talk to somebody who is unbiased about your experiences or your thoughts. Like, you can talk to your husband, your wife, your brother, sister, mother, father, whatever, or your best friend, but at the end of the day, they're going to be biased because they know you. So a therapist, they don't know anything about you but other than what you tell them, and they've never met you before, so they're going to be honest, sometimes brutally honest, but they're going to be honest with you and give you ways to cope. And my therapist did give me ways to cope. I actually have learned to kind of do the grounding thing where you think about like 5 things you can touch, 5 things you can hear, smell, you know, whatever. So I do that sometimes when my anxiety gets bad. I try not to just like pop a pill or whatever. So, which that's okay though. If you have to do that, you have to do that. You have to cope. You have to do what you have to do to make yourself able to face your day. You have to do that. And like, I sometimes want kids, and I cannot see myself having children dealing with this illness. I don't know how people do it. I really, truly have no idea. So I probably won't have kids. I'll probably just continue to rescue dogs. That's kind of what I do. I have a rescue named Lexi. I have a rescue named Millie. I have a rescue named Cullen. And then I have a kitty cat that we rescued named Zane. So I have 6 fur babies, and they help me a lot. My cat, he knows when I'm having an anxiety attack. He will come and lay on my side and touch me with his paws. Just kind of, it's crazy. So I think animals are a great way to cope. But like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, or fears, let me know below. But thanks guys for listening to me ramble today. And please like this video for more and hit subscribe. Bye guys, thank you.